What's up everybody, Matt Moran here, and today I'm back at Blackout Tinting here, not for the Bullet, but actually to show my wife's car some love. So my wife just picked up a 2019 Mercedes C300 a couple of months back, and so she custom ordered the car and did exactly what she wanted with it, and so we wanted to give it a little bit of extra protection, but it's only a lease, so we didn't want to do a full XPEL paint protection film like we did on the Bullet, but we did want to give it some protection, and so XPEL very well timed came out with their Fusion ceramic coating recently, and so we thought we'd put that on it and also do the XPEL Prime XR Plus window tint, especially since the car sits outside. That'll give it a little bit of extra heat rejection, and so I'll go into more detail about all that in a minute here, but yeah, so let's go check out her car and see how it looks. And I also want to give a huge thank you and shout out to XPEL and Blackout Tinting for sponsoring this video. Alright, so here it comes. So you can see it has the AMG line trim on it, but it is still a C300 Formatic, and we'll be doing a full review. Me and my wife will be doing a review on this car like we did on her previous car, so stay tuned for that in the next coming weeks. But yeah, let's see how it looks here in the sun. And you can see it is emerald green. Looks kind of black in the shade, of course, but in the sun here you can see the emerald green color. Really a nice, subtle, but still very cool. I mean, look at that metallic flake, and now with the XPEL Fusion ceramic coating, it just really pops here in the sun. Look at that. Looks fantastic. And then for the window tint here, they did the 55% XPEL Prime XR Plus, and so that gives a little bit of a darker tint, but still very police friendly, very easy to see into the car still. So just gives you all the great heat rejection properties you want. But yeah, it looks fantastic there in the sun. So yeah, it looks awesome, but I'm going to interview Patrick here. He's the one who actually put the ceramic coating on it, and he's going to give us a little more information about the whole process and what all goes into it.
So this is Beth Moran's brand new Mercedes-Benz C300. It came to us to get a XPEL Fusion Plus ceramic coating installed on the vehicle. The XPEL Fusion Plus is a 4-year warranted coating that gets applied to all of your exterior surfaces. It went on the paint, the face of the wheels, the glass, any plastics and chrome trim and different things like that. Walking around the vehicle as we're coming along here, you can see how much gloss and depth the XPEL Fusion Plus coating adds to your vehicle. Just looking in this green, it's one absolutely amazing green. It shows so much metal flake, even when the sun's hitting it or there's just a little bit of light hitting it. It just adds a lot of gloss and depth to the paint. So coming down to the wheels here, the face of the wheels got coated with the Fusion Plus coating. That's pretty much what Matt wanted on this vehicle. But we do offer the wheels off package where we actually take the wheels off the car to coat the face, barrel, back of the spokes, as well as the brake caliper. But looking at the finish of the wheel, the Fusion Plus definitely adds a lot of gloss and depth to the wheel. It's a pretty crazy difference whenever you look at the wheel when it has nothing on it and then you look at it with a coating on it. And especially this finish of the wheel where it has a lot of metallic flake on it. It's really making that shine, especially when the sun's hitting it right now. Coming back a little bit further, all the windows on the exterior are coated as well as the sunroof on the top, the insides of the mirrors, the glass in there, windshield, back window. Pretty much all the windows the entire way around the car are all coated. Headlights, taillights, different things like that are done. You come to the back here, you have the rear diffuser where you have some plastic and you have some chrome trim, and then some more plastic that runs underneath of that. That is also coated with Fusion Plus. So as far as the coating process goes, the biggest thing is you want to prep the vehicle, so we wash it. We do a clay bar, we do an iron decontamination to remove any iron deposits that are built up on the clear coat. And then after that, we begin our polishing stage. With this, each vehicle is different. Some panels or some vehicles are going to need full paint corrections. Some vehicles are just going to need a minor polish. It goes the same with just a general vehicle that comes in. Thankfully, this Mercedes wasn't in too bad a shape. The hood was about the only thing that needed the paint correction. Everything else just needed a good polish. So after the vehicle was done being polished, we went ahead and wiped the entire vehicle down with a solvent remover, which we call as Prep-Sol. And we sprayed a little bit on the panels, wipe it down, and this removes any fillers, oils, any solvents, different things like that are actually on the clear coat of the vehicle and gets it ready for the coating process. So when it comes onto the coating process, the coating actually comes in like a very small bottle, and you actually just put a little bit onto a applicator pad and you work in small areas. So the biggest thing whenever you are applying the coating is you don't want to work in large areas. So like when it comes down to the hood, for example, you kind of got to look at the hood a little bit differently. You got to look at all the body lines on each vehicle. Each car is different, and that way you can kind of have like a little separating point. So when it comes to actually coating this hood with Fusion, I broke it up into 6 sections. So I did like the little side pieces. I broke each side of the halves into 2, and then I just did reverse on the other side, and then blended it all together at the end. So once the coating is applied on the surfaces, then you wipe over it with a couple different microfiber towels. One towel you kind of use to level out the coating, and the other one you use to buff it off, buff off whatever residue is left. And then if there is anything left on there, you want to make sure you get that off, or else it's going to leave what we call a high spot. But we did that to the entire vehicle. The wheels are pretty much on the very similar schematic, but with the wheels, thankfully, you can kind of just coat along as so many spokes at a time and then stop.
Although it's not the same conditions, here's a look before the ceramic and how it now looks after. So next up was the window tint, and so Blackout Tinting installed the 55% XPEL Prime XR Plus, and it blocks 99% of UV rays without interfering with any radio, cellular, or Bluetooth signals. And the Prime XR was introduced a couple years ago, and that introduced the ceramic particle element, which blocks solar radiation regardless of how dark the tint is, which is really nice. And so the Prime XR Plus ups the heat rejection from 80% to 98% to keep the car even cooler and protect the interior even more. And I really like this ceramic element because it means you don't need a super dark tint to get the heat rejection anymore, which my wife especially appreciates since her car sits outside and can get pretty hot, especially in the summer. And the 55% is still light enough to easily see inside the car, so police don't have any issues with it, even though the tint laws in Pennsylvania here allow for very little tint. To get the ultimate heat rejection, you'd also want to do the windshield as well, but unfortunately any tint on the windshield is illegal in Pennsylvania, and with our inspection stickers the tint would get ruined anyway, so we weren't able to do that. But on to the install process. So first they use a plotter here that perfectly cuts the tint to the exact dimensions that they need. Then they pop open the top of the door panel there and remove the rubber window fittings to make it easier to install. And then they just get it wet to work it into place there, and then squeegee away the moisture to lock it into place. The back window is really the hardest part, and that piece they first actually heat shrink it to get it into place there on the outside and get it into the right shape, and then they carefully place it to make sure it doesn't pick up any debris or anything like that, but at least it's a little bit easier than a coupe or something here with a sedan, but it still requires a lot of skill. They use a special tool to get into the hard to reach spots there, but otherwise the tinting is a pretty straightforward process, but it still does require a lot of skill for a good install, and the quality of the install will come down to the shop. It always does. And Blackout Tinting did the install on my Mustang last year as well, and it came out great, and it still looks great over a year later. They do fantastic work, and I highly recommend them to anyone within driving distance is looking to do tint, ceramic, or any of the other services like XPEL paint protection film, wraps, detailing, and more. They also even have a new YouTube channel that I'll link in the description below that shows a behind-the-scenes look at the cars they work on and how they do some of the great work that they do. Huge thanks to Patrick for the fantastic ceramic install, and to Terrell and Nathan for the great tint install as well. Also, check out XPEL.com for more information on the Fusion Plus ceramic coating. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.